This story takes place on the continent of Athorn, ruled under the Holy Alliance Empire, a nation founded upon unwavering devotion to the moon goddess Eleusia. A century ago, a new order was established where magic and divine arts coexisted and flowed freely across the land. But on one particular night, something unnatural stirs. Deep within a dark, secluded manor, a crimson light floods the halls. Inside, a group of mages struggle to contain a chained grimoire, the very source of the eerie glow. Their faces twist with fear. The magic inside this tome is not considered orthodox, and for that reason, it is to be strictly monitored. One mage, voice trembling with desperation, shouts that such power must be banned, no, eradicated, at all costs. If it escapes, if it spreads, it will corrupt hearts, it will twist the world, and far away from the Empire's core, under the gaze of an ominous red moon, an ancient bloodline's secret begins to awaken. On a bright, peaceful morning, deep within a lush green forest, a pair of blood-red eyes watches from behind the brush. The creature steps forward, a warthog. It trots happily beneath the canopy, blissfully unaware of the danger lurking just ahead. A metal bear trap, poorly hidden, yet fatefully placed. The warthog doesn't notice until it's too late. Snap! The trap clamps shut around its leg. The creature's expression shifts instantly from calm to dread. Then, a gut-wrenching scream bursts from its throat, echoing through the forest, scattering flocks of birds miles away. Watching quietly from nearby, hidden within the undergrowth, is the one who set the trap. A boy, white-haired, young, barely past childhood, but the grin on his face, sharp enough to rival a hunter twice his age. He steps out proudly. I finally caught you. The warthog's eyes well with tears. It knows this is the end. The boy, whose name we learn is Richard, beams with triumph, admiring what he calls his big pig trotter. But before Richard can celebrate, thwip, an arrow whistles down from above and pierces the warthog straight through the back. Richard freezes. Shock, confusion. He looks up. High in the trees stands a group of older boys, smirking, smug, and anything but friendly. One of them calls out, voice dripping with mockery, that prey belongs to us. Richard's cheerful expression drops instantly. He scowls. Thieves. The leader of the group steps forward, Piru, confident, smug, backed by his boys, who immediately crowd around him in support. Piru crosses his arms and scoffs. What are you talking about, Richard? We shot the boar. How is that stealing? Richard opens his mouth to argue, but Piru cuts him off before he can even speak. Didn't you leave home this morning with only these little traps? He lifts one of Richard's snares and waves it mockingly for everyone to see. Everyone knows traps like this are only good for catching rabbits, Piru laughs, voice sharp and cruel. So tell me, how could a wild boar possibly be your prey? His friends burst into laughter with him, loving every moment of Richard's humiliation. Richard's expression darkens. His voice is steady, but there's a blade inside it. If you knew I was out here to hunt rabbits, then why follow me? He glares directly at Piru. Why show up only after I trapped a boar? The group's laughter stops. Their smiles twist into irritation. One of the boys snaps back. What are you implying? That we're here to steal from you? Another boy shoves him aside and says louder, no need to waste words. Piru clearly shot the boar. End of story. Richard's jaw clenches. Anger finally breaks through. You're going too far. That prey was caught by me. The group doesn't bother arguing any longer. They grab Richard by the collar and force him to the ground. Don't start acting high and mighty, one of them scoffs. Just because you know how to read and set little traps doesn't make you special. Another boy smirks, voice low and taunting. Out here, strength is what decides everything. Peru steps forward, cracking his knuckles, eyes fixed on Richard. So? Do you still insist that the prey is yours? Richard winces from the pressure on his ribs, but his voice stays firm. It is mine. Peru's expression darkens. With a swift motion, he kicks Richard in the stomach, sending him backward onto the forest floor. He speaks again, slower this time. I'll ask you one last time. Whose prey is it? Richard lifts his head. His face is strained, bruised, but his eyes remain unbroken. It's mine. The group descends on him, rough and unrestrained, enough to leave him badly hurt. That night, under the soft glow of the moon in a small cottage, Richard's mother tends to his injuries carefully. He manages a small smile, insisting he simply got hurt while hunting. She sighs, gently scolding, You shouldn't push yourself so hard. Richard grits his teeth through the sting of treatment, but assures her, Don't worry, Mom. I'm not a little kid anymore. I'm already 10. I can handle things at home. Once she finishes, Richard looks much better. She watches him quietly, thinking, he's always tried to prove his strength since he was little, and now he's growing up. She hesitates, then speaks. Richard, you've always wanted to learn divine arts, haven't you? Richard looks up, surprised. She smiles warmly. Today is the day I begin teaching you. His eyes widen, bright with excitement. Really? I'd never lie to you, she replies. She raises her hand, and a teapot, a plate, and a small knife float gently into the air, glowing faintly with divine energy. This, she says softly, is your delayed ninth birthday gift. Richard can barely contain his excitement. A spark of determination flashes behind his eyes as he remembers what happened earlier that morning. So, if I learn divine arts, no one will push me around again. But his mother's voice brings him back to reality. Don't celebrate just yet, she says calmly. Learning divine arts is not something simple. Her tone grows serious. On the continent of a thorn, not everyone is allowed to practice them. The church oversees the inheritance of divine arts to ensure that their use remains pure, to keep them distinct from other forces such as shadow arts or corrupt arcane powers. This is done to prevent dangerous abilities from spreading and harming the world. Richard's excitement pauses. He finally understands why she never taught him before. She places a hand gently on his shoulder. I didn't want you to be put at risk, she continues. To learn divine arts, you must first understand the ancient language and be acknowledged by Alucia. Richard blinks, confused. Ancient language? What is that? His mother smiles softly. It is a language of power, a language that only those sincere in heart can grasp. It acts as a boundary, one that prevents twisted forces from copying or misusing divine arts. His mother begins to teach. In the ancient language, she says gently, power is granted to those strong in spirit. She doesn't expect Richard to understand. Not yet. But Richard looks up, eyes steady. And in the same ancient language, he replies, a truly strong person must also have wisdom. His mother freezes. She stares at him, speechless. Richard, how did you learn to speak that? Who taught you? Richard hesitates, nervous. It was written in a book. The scene shifts to the attic. His mother lights 3 candles, each flame flickering softly, illuminating the dusty room. On the floor sits a stack of old books, arranged neatly inside a faded magic circle. Richard points. That's the one. His mother's eyes widen. Not only that he found it, but that he understood any of it. Richard explains quietly, I've already read all the books in the house, except that one. I could only understand parts of it. She kneels beside him, expression filled with wonder. Richard, you truly are a special child. She reveals then she has been preparing a ritual for him, a gift, a ceremony to mark the beginning of his divine arts training. Richard looks at her, expecting something grand and flashy. A gift? I thought it would be something more exciting. She laughs softly. She picks up one of the old books, its cover marked with silver moon symbols. This is one of the sacred records of the moon goddess, Alucia. It contains 7 divine art forms, and the ancient language you spoke came from here. Richard rubs his chin, still smooth, still childish. I read it, but I could only understand some of it. But his mother's smile shines with pride. To understand even a part of it is proof that you are acknowledged. Only those recognized by Alucia can learn from this text. The air shifts. A soft glow spreads through the room. The ritual has begun. She instructs him. Richard, step into the center of the circle. He takes his place. Kneel, she says softly, her voice warm and steady, and pray with sincerity. The moon will hear. Richard's eyes widen as golden light begins to swirl around him. Warm, weightless, almost alive. His mother speaks gently. You will enter the hall of the goddess to receive guidance. Listen carefully. Follow the intention of your heart. The old book rises from the floor, pages fluttering without wind. The golden light grows brighter, enveloping Richard completely. In the next instant, he opens his eyes, and the attic is gone. He stands in a vast, ethereal space, silent, endless, shimmering. Then a great golden circle appears above him, glowing like a sun suspended in the heavens. A voice echoes, Do you seek strength? Richard flinches, startled. Who are you? The voice answers, calm and echoing through the air. Perhaps you can understand me as the part of yourself hidden deep within your heart. A ray of golden light descends, striking the ground before him. From that light, statues begin to form, one after another, each shaped like an ancient idol of power. The voice speaks again. Choose. Richard now stands within a stone formation of concentric circles, 6 idols positioned around him. He recognizes what this is. This is the choice Mother mentioned. The voice begins naming them: divine art, enlightenment; divine art, healing; divine art, retribution; divine art, silver moon armament; divine art, judgment; divine art, foresight. Richard hesitates. Mother said there were only 3 choices. Why are there 6? The voice simply repeats, choose. Richard stands frozen. He doesn't understand the consequences of each choice. He remembers the helplessness he felt earlier, the frustration, the desire to protect. And then he recalls a line from the attic book. A true man must also have wisdom. His mother's voice appears in his memory, soft but steady. Follow your heart. Richard lifts his head. I choose wisdom. The wisdom to grow stronger, to protect the ones I love. The stone rings begin to glow. A 7th statue rises from beneath the ground, one hidden until now. Divine art, dark side of the moon. The voice whispers, in this world, every path carries a price. What are you willing to give for what you seek? Richard hesitates only for a heartbeat. Then he reaches forward, placing his hand on the new idol. A cool blue light bursts outward, flowing into him, surrounding him. Back in the attic, the air temperature drops sharply, the candles flicker. Richard kneels in the center of the ritual circle, wrapped in pale moonlight. His mother steps closer and stops. Richard's form has changed, not monstrous, but eerie, unfamiliar, touched by something beyond ordinary divine arts. A power that feels both calm and unsettling. She gasps softly, Richard?